Welcome, everybody, to the Glaziar Gambol podcast, episode 50, where this week we will, in fact, be talking about Marvel. Not just Marvel, Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan, the good episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, episode
absolutely,
2.
absolutely good episode. You got some action. You got some backstory. You got some politics.
Yep.
And you got a very subtle possible Inhuman teaser. So
Which is what we said from the beginning. Yet another thing that this podcast has gotten right, and only our loyal listeners have been ahead of the game. Just them, no one else, just us and them. Anyway, so in this episode we mentioned that the power is coming from inside her and not the bangles themselves. The bangles more so awakened, kind of siphons the powers through something, and we're getting a lot of, which that's the hint that like I mentioned about when we talked about the first episode, it went around her, it wasn't like on her,
like encased her.
In case, so it was more like it was a part of her cocoon. Yeah,
like an energy cocoon, a hard light cocoon, which is hard light is essentially the same thing that Green Lantern uses.
Hard light to me sounds like a marital aid of some kind. It really does. When they said hard light, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure my wife has one of those in her drawer.
Okay. Miss Marvel might be TV-14,
but my brain never will be. My brain will forever be 7.
Yeah.
But we got to see
how many inches that thing is too. Her hard light is too.
At least on both ends. But we got to see some new characters. We got to see Kamran, which they picked a great actor for that, because in the comics Kamran is supposed to be like irresistibly attractive, and that guy is very good looking.
Yeah,
Kamran, the guy who's playing Kamran, super good looking. He also did a good job. He did a English accent, a Pakistani accent. Obviously that you were supposed to question his character right away because he shows a abnormal interest in Kamala ignores everyone else. In the comics he is considered like a partial love interest, but it like they almost, some version or some part of it is like almost like a friend, like a family-esque love, and some it seems like it's more of a she's like physically interested in him. So for those people that said she's gay and it's the show's pushing,
he's also he's inhuman too in the comics. So
he has natural light. He can create blue light, and then he can cause whatever he encases or fills with the blue light, he can make explode. And then he also becomes one of the new humans, which are humans that have inhuman DNA. And he has 2 different forms. He has his inhuman form and his new human form. And the first time they reveal a new human form in the comics, it's Kamran revealing it to Miss Marvel. So that's pretty big. But yeah, he's supposed to be 18. She's 15 or 16. He lets her take a driving lesson.
She's 16, so she's failed her driver's test, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
16,
He obviously, Bruno is jealous of him.
Bruno's trying to include. They had a couple Kingo name drops in there.
A couple Kingo name drops.
So referring back to the Eternals.
Right, and they said they had his mom had a crush on Kingo Senior, which is all just Kingo. But if you watch the Eternals, that's only a reference you would get if you watched it.
Sure.
So that's kind of an Easter egg, but not really. It is fun that they tied that in, though, like to remember, like, oh, by the way, he's supposed to be like the biggest Bollywood movie star, and he just plays his family members the whole time.
Right.
Then the cops, we're getting a little bit more about what those cops, obviously they're working away from U.S. government because they said that they have to do things by trying to hide from the FBI.
Right. Well, here's the weird thing. He in Spider-Man No Way Home, that same detective, he mentioned like, oh well, Fury, blah blah blah, and that guy knew. He's like, Fury's off planet, So that dude specifically, the male at least, knew something along of Fury. Because like Spider-Man knew that Spider-Man thought Talos was Fury, right? So Spider-Man was like, Fury told me, or Fury was there, or whatever. And then that dude was like, no, Fury's off planet. So that guy knows something. I don't know if that guy's good or bad, but he seems bad.
They seem bad. But
he knows something. Maybe he's a Skrull. I don't know. So
could be. I don't think so, but he could be.
Right.
Well, who knows? Skrulls could be.
Who knows?
Kamala could be a Skrull.
I hate that shit so much.
I hate it. I really do. You can time travel, shape shift, and multi-dimensional travel. Nothing ever has to be permanent ever again. Just frustrating to me from like a storytelling writing standpoint. It's like, how am I supposed to ever feel the weight of anything? You know. Anyway. So I think all the characters did a good job of portraying their part. However, my wife didn't watch the first episode with me. I had to watch it because I wanted to make sure I could watch it before we recorded, obviously.
Sure.
So I had to watch it on the TV. So my wife was watching this part with me, kind of like looking up and down, a little off and on. And she goes, "Is this?"
It's like when you're sitting next to your significant other. They're watching like, from my point of view, they're watching like Pretty Little Liars. Okay. And I'm like,
so she was next to me on the couch.
Wait, who's that? That's Emily. She's one of their friends. Do you want me to rewind it? No, it's fine.
You don't need to rewind it. Trust me, you do not need to rewind it.
Why is the mom there? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
like a switch out.
It's just, I don't care. I don't care that much.
Well, so
there's no way, like
just like yep. But like that's what she was next to me on the couch. She had her phone and she was like, oh okay. And then so at one point she was like, is this whole show so heavily focused on like social media, and like is it really that heavily focused? Because she was basically getting at the point that it's kind of like cringy. It's so social media focused.
That's teens these days too.
Well, and that's what I said. I was like, this show is aimed at teens, and I think they are making it clear every episode that it definitely is a teen show. I liked her little dance scene, but it was very bad. It was very bad. And that was the part where my wife like watched. She was like like confused at what was happening. They had some more of those effects of like the text on screen popping up on different parts. Like first lesson tomorrow was in her bed sheets, and then it said like, absolutely on a different part, like or on her pillow or something. So like they're doing more of that, which is cool. However,
I do think that's
technology focused.
Yeah. I think that's cool how they're portraying like the text messages coming through as opposed to just having like a screen on the screen. I guess.
For those that watched, because our Hawkeye review series, those are some of our most watched and listened to episodes.
Sure.
For those that remember those, I mentioned that the thing I hated the most was all the scenes they had zoomed in on phones.
Right.
Like if you're gonna have a zoom in on phones, at least have realistic typing. And there would be parts where they would hit like two buttons and the thing's just like. So the thing I hated was the zooming in on all the phones. Well, clearly their solution to this was this cool sort of editing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, way better. If Hawkeye did something like this, it would have been elevated.
And it's very and it's very like comic book ass where Kamala wants to like essentially live in a comic world herself.
Yeah. Yep.
And so like chat bubbles coming up above them or like on the TV or like on the windows behind them. Like that's very
quick doodles that play out the scenes.
Sure.
Yeah. So I like that. However, it is very focused on, TikTok, Instagram.
Right.
It's focused on those things that for the older audience, it is kind of like this, am I too old for this? Am I not supposed to be watching this show?
She mentioned something about like the Ant-Man podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to get Paul Rudd to do like a fake podcast thing with like the other Marvel heroes coming in.
Yeah, well, it was,
I think that
who was the one who was supposed to
awesome.
Who's this co-host podcast they said?
I don't know. I don't remember.
But she said that part of why she's so like Ant-Man, like why she thought she might have ant powers because we both look younger than our age, and it's like that's call to Paul Rudd. Everybody always saying Paul Rudd doesn't age.
Aging, yeah. We're in the quantum realm, so like he's probably stuck in a time vortex. So
yeah,
that could be.
He had to have been in real life too, because he looks the same as he did on Friends.
Yeah.
Other than that, like the forced social media aspect, I get it because they're young and they want to be like TikTok famous, that sort of thing. The other aspects of the show are very good. I like that we can see Bruno's jealousy, the back and forth with her mom. Like her mom was starting to trust her again by letting her go to Zoe's party, and then got super pissed again because she asked about her great grandmother.
Yeah.
She's starting to see more flashbacks.
Yeah, and Kamala,
like an opening to see her Naya.
Yeah.
Aisha,
something like that.
Aisha.
Yeah. But yeah, her mom is Kamala definitely. There's a scene where Kamala realized that like she's hiding something, and so like I don't know. She seemed like annoyed that her mom was like drop it, like let it go, and then Kamala was like,
right, because she wants to know information. Nobody likes having information withheld. It's super frustrating when especially a main character asks a question and the person that they ask doesn't answer it. Yeah. Super frustrating, but every writer, every creator does that because it creates drama and it creates tension, suspension, all of that. So
tension.
Yes. So then, they also have Eid Mubarak, which is a celebration that at that celebration she was trying to get more information from the Illuminatis.
That was funny how they named them all, but the Illuminatis, that's funny because it ties into another Marvel property, I guess. But,
and it's cool. It's also more representation. I have a couple people that I've met via the internet, online games, that every time Eid Mubarak comes around, they wish everybody that celebrates. So it's cool to finally, I've never seen it. I've seen people wish it because of the people I've met online, but I've never actually seen the celebration of it, and it was cool to see it. But it was at that she was trying to find more information about her great grandmother, and she was finally learning. Some people said that she killed. They said that she was having
multiple affairs
and all this stuff, and it's like, no way any of this is true. She was clearly inhuman that was independent in a time and a country where that's not okay.
Right.
And so she was talked about, and rumors were probably created, and she clearly used some sort of cosmic energy because she got lost on a train and their family was looking for her, but her great grandmother found a way back to the train.
Right. Yeah.
By following the stars.
Yeah.
To her father.
Following the stars. So let's just say in the inhuman city of Adelan is on the moon amongst the stars. So maybe. And
the fact that she just has the cosmic powers, cosmic stars. She probably saw blue light leading her there.
Sure.
Could be something as simple as that as well. That's what I thought when I was like, she probably followed a cosmic blue light to her dad to make sure she didn't get lost. And that's just one form of her power. But yeah, and then she's clearly seeing these portals being open, these flashbacks opening of her great grandmother, or things that she needs somebody. Right. It seems like she's trying to be reached, like somebody's trying to, because there's always a woman standing there.
Right.
Now,
yeah, there was a couple things. Yeah, there was when she was at Avengers Con, she fell back, and then she went into a different, I don't know, almost like time. Everyone just had like white eyes, and they're just figures in the background. Then she came back to reality. There's she saw the person in the light. And then she saw when the boy was reaching out, she saw
a person reaching for her. And then, that was it. So anyway, for people that didn't see, at Eid Mubarak, a kid is trying to take a selfie, hanging out a window, falls out the window, which I'd like to say is super stupid and unrealistic, but there was 20 some people that died doing that in 2021.
I believe it.
So it's super realistic. So then she saves the kid from falling, but then she has a flashback right as she's trying to pull him off the ledge, saves him from falling. But obviously those people that are after her and the people that were recording
he breaks an ankle too.
Right. They're going to say that she did it on purpose, or that clearly she was trying to save him, but then she couldn't. But people are going to say that she did it on purpose, and it's going to be like a whole Spider-Man. Is she a vigilante or is she a hero? Right. So it's going to be that sort of
Nightlight.
thing.
Nightlight.
Nightlight's such a stupid name. So it's Nightlight.
I laughed though.
I was like, I didn't laugh. I went, oh my god! Like I straight up out loud just, oh my god! It was so. I was calling her Nightlight. Oh man. So yeah. So Nightlight then, after she lets him fall, runs because cops show up, and it's not just cops. It's those police, those group, people that were interviewing Zoe and were in the post-credit scene of episode 1 and in Spider-Man No Way Home. And they take drones after her, which look a lot like the Mysterio drones.
Sure. Yeah. They look a little different. They're like green.
Yeah, they're green instead of white.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So she takes a bunch of those down, and then when she's on the run, she's about to get caught, but then Kamran shows up in his car, says, "Get in," and they escape.
Yeah.
But then in his car is his mother, and she says she's been waiting a long time to see her, and she looks a lot like the person that was standing in those portals.
Aisha, or possibly like the great grandmother or whatever. Yeah, it's very weird.
Which would then, if that's his mother, would mean that he's a distant relative of hers. So it wouldn't be a love interest.
They're related anyway, which is weird. Like weird that he like did that play. Like I'm gonna try to swoon her. Right?
Yeah, you'd be woo. Make her swoon.
Yeah.
Well,
weird.
It is weird.
Incest is best, you know.
It also could be like she's not my mother, like real mother. She's not my birth mother. It could be anything like that. But yeah, so they could be related, could not be. But so if she was in the car, she says she's been waiting a long time. For those who didn't read the comics or don't know, we kind of went over that before. He is an Inhuman, and they do have family ties. Their families used to live together in the comics.
There's a Kamran stunt double. Mm-hmm. This is just a random thing I saw lately. He was credited on IMDb, and he was the stunt double. So it's like action sequence double for the Inhuman Kamran. That's what it said, but then it was taken down. But internet never forgets.
No, they're gonna take that screenshot and let everybody know, which it could be faked, which is what Disney wants you to. Oh, it could be faked. Right. But if that's actually what it was, they had Black Bolt, they had Kamala, they had Iman Vellani talk about Black Bolt in an interview. She's an Inhuman, and they're going to make her an Inhuman. That's why they're making all these things. The gauntlet was her family history, and that's what was on that. It wasn't a curse put on the gauntlets like their family, the Illuminatis were saying. It was something to help bring out the
Inhuman
in her, the Inhuman gene in her.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's Terrigen based, which would make more sense. But
Kamran in the comics doesn't become an Inhuman until he's exposed to Terrigen Mist.
Yep.
So maybe he's going to put on the gauntlet at some point and become his own version. Since they did change Miss Marvel's powers for the show, there's a good chance Kamran isn't exactly what he is in the comics.
Sure.
Where he'll have his blue light form in a new human form plus his Inhuman form as Kamran. We'll see what they decide to do with him. It's clear that they're trying to make him seem like an ally. But some people are starting to say that maybe there'll be a backhanded.
It seems bad. It seems bad, just from my personal point of view. It seems he took an
unnatural interest in her early on, and so did his mother, which is never usually a good sign when it comes to people with powers that just came into powers.
Yeah.
So could be that they're a villain. A lot of people think that's what's happening. They're supposed to be considered allies at this time, friends of the family. I think one little hint that he's supposed to be a villain is that he is trying to push out Bruno.
Yeah.
Knowing that that's the best friend. They've probably been watching them for a long time, knowing they're always close together.
Right.
In order to get to somebody, especially a hero, you try to isolate them, make them feel alone, pushing out Bruno, pushing out all of her other friends or a couple of other friends. That's how they'd get to her. And I think a good way to show, for those of you that aren't sure if he's an ally or a villain, one way where you might lean villain is he's trying to push out Bruno.
Sure. But we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't. Brian.
Yeah.
So then they came back with the brother, showed him a little bit with his wife. showed the dad and mom telling stories. The dad is great, and in the comic books, the relationship, the parent that she has the close relationship with and that helps her with her powers is her dad.
Right.
Looks like they're trying to make it the mother in this show. But the dad told a good story.
Yeah, you tell the dad has a heart of gold.
Yeah, and the actor is very, very good. Reminds me of the guy who plays the Watcher. I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but Jeffrey Wright.
Right, yeah.
Reminds me a lot of him. Reminds me a lot of Jeffrey Wright and his mannerisms and the way he delivers his lines. So very good. I think overall so far they've done great casting for all the characters. Definitely still is a kids show, younger kids, a teen show.
Right.
But it's good. Second episode was better than the first one.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it. That first one was very
20
slow.
Minute.
Yeah. I had that first like 30 minutes of the first half of that first episode, I was snoozing, but
they had to have a post-credit scene because of that in that first episode.
Yeah, but it's delivered from that point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, my wife asked, why doesn't she stretch her hand out to save him? The kid falling in the second episode, and I was like, she doesn't have control yet.
Right. Like she just learned to step on these things. So.
Right. She's putting a lot of her energy in creating the light, as opposed to like the couple times where she stretched is in the moment.
It was like instinct.
It's instinct. It's not something like, can I do this? Like she's not trying to do it. She's trying to control the light right now, the hard light.
Yeah.
Yeah, which once you get
she's probably control, too young for that too.
Yeah, and that's hard. Once you're first learning about it, finding the proper control is
and how she got it, like for it to be her great grandmother's.
Mm-hmm. It's probably been heavily used. I didn't see her wash it once.
Yeah, my favorite thing is that when it lights up and vibrates, that's what I think is when it's like peak.
Right,
it's like
you can see like her eyes light up.
Right. Yeah. Right. She's just about ready to explode.
This is not okay.
If we could do that whole bit with a straight face,
I could, but it just feels not okay because she's young. If she was 18 or older, I'd feel more comfortable. But it just makes me uncomfortable.
We're gonna cut that from.
Okay, from this point, all right, perfect. And all that we're left with is Miss Marvel was good.
And then it's gonna be like Miss Marvel was great. Then it'll be like, anyway, thank you guys.
Like super hard cut. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say on it other than they're doing a good job. I think it was good casting. They're making it clear it's meant for kids, but it's still showing connections to other parts of Marvel, which is really the only way you're going to keep the attention of the adults watching.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a good job of that. Vincent D'Esposito, I believe, is the executive producer. I think he's doing a good job so far.
Yeah. No, I guess from like the Marvel fan, the true Marvel fan, if you're not liking this, I don't know, it's because you're forcing yourself not to like it. I
would love to know for the people that are watching this or listening, if you don't like the show, why? So far, if you don't like it, what about it don't you like? That'd be something I would love to know.
Sure.
So if you're watching this or listening, please say that in the comments. I'll post it as we do a poll and a question in every Spotify episode, where you're able to answer for a week up of the episode posting. So I'll put that as the open-ended question of this episode as well, and on Spotify for those listening. Just let us know, what don't you like about the show and why? Because I'd love to know, because I so far went in with low expectations thinking I really wouldn't like it, and I've been pleasantly surprised, as opposed to another show that we'll be talking about in 2 weeks, which is Obi-Wan, where I went in with high expectations. So far I've been disappointed, but I haven't seen the newest episode yet, so I've heard that was really good. Do you have anything else to say about Kamala Khan and the show?
The two things I wanted from the show was an Inhuman tie.
Yep. It sounds like we're getting.
Haven't got yet, but it would be. I tweeted this. I said I would if the bangle breaks and it's made of Terrigen, or there's Terrigen crystals in it, and they break. Like when a Terrigen crystal breaks, that's what the Terrigen mist. It goes like right, like it expands or whatever. So if the bangles break, Terrigen mist, she goes into Terrigenesis, and then it cuts to black, I will freak out. Like I'll run around my room. Like it'll be that sweet.
That's gonna be similar to the whole the reveal we wanted with Blade in Moon Knight. Or
yeah.
It's gonna be similar to that. Like that's what we want.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna happen.
No. Yeah. But and then I want the Embiggen
run around.
In Embiggen.
Embiggen. Once she learns, maybe they're gonna make a comment of like when they say you're only using the light, sometimes your hands seem to stretch. Maybe that's gonna be what she chants when she tries to do it the first time.
Yeah. And I'd love to get the Hulk clap. Like I'd have her like that one. That's what I want. The Embiggen, and then like a big stretchy elastic noodle hands.
Yep. But I want stand up like the Ludacris video where she enlarges her foot. And stomps.
Stand up. Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. But if she goes through Terrigenesis, if they like have her like go through Terrigenesis and then she like comes out of it, and then it's Chloe Bennett's Quake right there.
Since she took that picture with Simu Liu.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Fuel to the fire.
And she's in Jersey, so she's right next to New York. She's got access to every other hero. Maybe she'll run into some Peter something. Peter
I don't know who that is.
Peter Pork, I think.
Peter Parker.
Peter Porker. Yeah. Sausage King of San Diego. All right. Well, that's all we had to say about this week's episode. Thank you all for watching. See us next week.
I got one more thing.
Okay. All right.
Ironheart. Manny Montana.
Yeah.
Manny Montana. I've watched Good Girls. It's a good show, but that guy steals the show in every episode he is in. And so I'm thrilled that he is in Marvel. He's fantastic. He's probably one of my top actors if I had to choose. And so, he tweeted that he's super excited. It was hard for him to keep it under wraps, but he's very excited for the show. All the writers and producers, he said, are fire.
Why'd you have to say that, man? It made me think of something else.
What?
Speaking of things under wraps, Tessa Thompson spoiled Valkyrie's new outfit.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
But why'd you say that? It made me think of something now. Thor: Love and Thunder is the first Marvel product that is rated PG-13 for partial nudity. So we're gonna get that cake, ladies and gents.
Hell yeah! It's also the shortest Marvel product since 2017.
Or definitely a Phase 4 for sure. Yeah. But which is it's only 2 hours. Like I don't know.
Yeah, 1 hour 59 minutes or 2 hours exactly.
Yeah. So it's like 30 minutes longer than Venom. So I'm not Venom 2, I mean. So I'm not
and about an hour shorter than Eternals.
Yeah. And there still might be a sex scene. Who knows?
Right, with partial nudity.
Yeah.
Maybe it's between Hulk's ass and Thor's ass, like clapping together. Like instead of the Hulk clap that we've missed, it'll be his cheeks.
Disintegrates everyone.
Black Bolt level scream just from a twerk. If anybody would do it, it's Taika Waititi. If anybody would do that, it's Taika. The guy who said he hasn't worked a day in his life since he's entered Hollywood.
Nice. Just shows up. We're gonna do this.
Yep. He said, I don't even do an accent. I just talk. I just do my own voice. So anyway, that's all we got for you this week. Make sure to watch us next week and the week after that. Tell your friends. Give us a like, a subscribe, another listen, a follow, a favorite, all of it. And let us know why you didn't like Miss Marvel. If you don't like it, if you do like it, just drop a like. Say, like the podcast, and say something else that you like. Favorite color. All right. You all look great today. GG.